Greetings, beautiful people. It's Gigi from Jerryism's YouTube channel. Let's have a little sip of my herbal tea. I've been making herbal teas, but that's another subject. Yes, so Boris. You're confusing the people. So first of all, you say it doesn't matter if you have a mask on. Then you're making it compulsory to get on public transport. You're confusing the people. So now, if I'm right, the Oracle has informed me, my mother, because I don't watch the news. I know it's terrible and I don't read about it, but I seem to be not being able to avoid it being on social media. I cannot avoid it. Anyway, so this bubble, everybody's bubbling. So this bubble thing is what is it? I think, don't quote me on this, don't quote me on this, don't quote me on this, don't quote me on this. I think that you're allowed to, let me get all urban. I think you're allowed to go and see your brethren, or I think you're allowed to see your girlfriend or boyfriend. So, and sleep over. But, Boris, people have been doing this. They've been doing it. So, people have been doing this. They've been doing this for weeks. So what's going to happen now? What is going to happen now? Because surely the people that have been doing it for weeks and doing whatever they feel like it, what are they going to up their game to? What is their next level of bubbling? I personally have not had anybody in my home. My little person and me, we're very self-contained, and we're happy with the cleansed environment that we have. And I've been going to the supermarket. I'm having the time of my life. Everywhere's all clean and tidy. Been in my garden, doing lots of things. But yeah, this bubbling malarkey, how is this going to work out? So you're allowed to go and sleep over. And I know people that have just been going over people's houses anyway. And I've even seen, because obviously I live in a house connected to houses. Yeah, I've seen. So like, well, yeah, I don't understand really. Yeah, I don't understand what you're opening the floodgates to. But my older brother, this is his theory. He said, yeah, so people can go and see their girlfriends. And I was like, yeah, but people have already been doing it. He said, no, people that have been at home with their wives can now go and see their girlfriends and sleep over. I did think that was funny. So, Boris, come on, Boris, get yourself together. You let your brethren run up and down the motorways of England, visiting, doing whatever he liked, with his lingering, I call it lingering, essence, inch of knowing that they could have the virus. So now you've just basically opened the floodgates for everything, for everybody to go wild and everybody to just do what they like. Oh, and another thing, yes, this is another point. So you brought out testing. There's an app. Let's put the app to the side. So you brought out testing, which people had to go and test themselves. And then if they did have the virus, then they had to say who they were around. This is where it gets funny. So you then have to write a list of who you've been interacting with, because remember, we weren't supposed to be interacting with anybody. So they've wrote this list, they've shared this list, and then they tried to contact the people, and there was, is it 20% or 26%? Don't quote me on figures. Don't quote me on figures. Don't quote me on figures, because I'm just beating up my gums, as my sister would say in Jamaica. So they had a percentage of people not answering their phone calls or answering their emails to say. The government has decided to list this as people either, I don't think they use the word embarrassed. I think they use the word of minding your own business, minding your own business. So that's why they didn't answer. But this is where everybody's been doing what they feel like it. So because everybody, well, not everybody, there's what's the word I'm looking for? A small percentage of people have been doing as they please. So then this new not the app, but checking on people, and you basically either have to self-isolate yourself if you get test results back and you've got it. So this new theory of checking on the people that you've been around, so then they can get themselves checked. In theory, it's not going to work, because people are going to be like, oh dear, I shouldn't have been with you in the first place. Or, oh dear, I shouldn't have been there in the first place. Because you have to basically register and take account of your movements, which obviously some people don't want to, and they want to mind their own business. I'm laughing. I shouldn't laugh really, but it is funny. But this is where Boris, you're sending out mixed messages. You're just sending out mixed messages, Boris. You're sending out mixed messages. So you're sending out mixed messages. So because you've sent out so many mixed messages, people in general, it's just a known psychological fact. They like to dissect information when they don't want to hear it and they don't want to do something, follow a directive. They like to dissect the information and make it what they want to make it. So basically there was that small percentage of people that were just still going out, the ones that you seen jogging or walking in flip-flops and sliders, because that was their exercise, and you saw them about 80 times past your house. The ones that were walking in bunches, or suddenly was walking the dog about 900 times a day, they're the ones, obviously. And then they've now got they're supposed to give feedback to say where else they've been. So if I give you an example, if I was to have a friend, and then my friend came round, and then my friend came round regularly, and then my son was to have a friend, and his friend came round regularly. So that means that that's 4 of us. Okay, so that's 4 of us in the equation. So then we've been interacting with each other. So when those 2 strangers that we've let, let's call them strangers, those 2 strangers that we've let in our house, that we've been socializing with, that we shouldn't have been socializing with, then they leave, then you don't know where they've gone, and then they want to go around other people's houses too. So that's another bunch of people. So then this circle of mixing, bubbling, gets bigger and bigger. Because I personally, I have, and I was talking to one of my family members about it. You all have those friends that can't, we call it in Jamaica, can't keep your backside quiet. So we've all got those people that can't keep themselves still, and they're always in and out. They're always doing something. They kind of say they like to be busy, but really, when you should be sat down in your house, on your ass, you're not. So those people that are like that I've stayed away from. Love you dearly, but I've stayed away from, because basically when they're trying to come around your house and trying to mix in with you, then who else house have they been to? So then that's when it gets bigger. So we're saying we're rounding it up to 4 people that's been in this house, and then you go around somebody else's house, and then you're still that one person, that's another person, so that's 4, that's 5. And you're going around other people's. And I've got 5 brothers and sisters. So if I added that all up, there'd be like 30 odd people. So these are the people that haven't been responding to this new thing. So I don't know how that's gonna pan out. Yeah, and obviously on Monday everything opens. So Primark is open. Primark. Yeah, everything goes back to normal on Monday. So that's going to be really, really interesting. Really interesting. Really, really. So anyway, that was me. That's my just over 10 minutes over of just, saying, Boris, come on. Get a pair of shades so you can have some clarity. Have some clarity on things. And then, just keep it short and sweet. If you kept it short and sweet and said, we can't handle this virus, we can't manage this virus, and there are a number of symptoms, and there are a number of you that may have already had the virus. We have had some deaths. There are some serious repercussions of not following simple hygiene rules, which is washing your hands and washing your ass. Simple. Please keep washing your hands and washing your ass. I suggest you cover your mouth and your nose with a face covering. Doesn't necessarily need to be a surgical mask, but in the best interest of your own personal hygiene and your personal well-being for your family and your loved ones, when you are out in the public, and if you do use public transport, then wear a mask. If you do have access to gloves, then do cover your hands and wear gloves, because again, you will be protecting yourself from the virus that we cannot control. Hand sanitizers. I'm not advertising for Aldi, by the way. Hand sanitizers. We welcome you to get into a fashion of carrying hand sanitizers. So, with that note, thank you for listening to Gigi Jerryism's YouTube channel. If you have any questions, any comments, like, share, and tick the subscribe button. This is Gigi from Jerryism's YouTube channel. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Take care now.